Welcome back to another episode of Transport Fever. I'm Tech Hench, and we're back in the big build in Sandbox mode. So what we're doing today is adding the first of the goods lines in. So it does mean that we've got to add in a plastics factory, which I don't actually have yet. I've actually built the plastics factory already, so it's up at Cows. So there's two factories, as you'll see in a minute. So it does mean we need to add in a decent road over the train track that we've already got there. So what's going to happen is the oil is going to come into Cows via train. The plastic factory is obviously just outside of Cows, so where we can have a line into the plastics factory with taking the oil and then bringing back the plastic that it's created. So luckily I have got quite a few of the lines already in place for all this. So in previous episodes we've built the crude oil to oil. It does mean a lot of the lines need kind of beefing up a little bit because they're currently just taking enough stuff for the bits and bobs that it's creating at the minute. So I have already got a depot up there in Cows because we already bring fuel and food up there. So that just needed increasing a little bit. Now, as I was building this, I did do a few things wrong. So, as you can see there, I've added in the fuel, or the oil to the plastics factory. But then I didn't do a return line. So, those things I have fixed now, so it is all working fine. But you may see me come back and just redo them later on in the video. So as I go along as well, I do replace some of the old trains that I've got going up and down these lines. Some of them are over 100 years old, so they did need replacing. I did also change the train that goes, or takes the food and the oil up to Cows, just because it was kind of more heavily towards food, and now it's going to have to take oil and fuel as well. I wanted it a bit more even, so there's now 4 trains going between the two stations, taking oil and fuel and food. That may have to increase later on down the line, but we'll see. It did also mean that I wasn't creating enough oil, so I did in a previous episode create 2 more oil wells and didn't actually put trains on them, so I'm adding a new train. So I'm actually using a different train for this one. So this train actually does 99 miles an hour, and I will, I think, replace all the trains eventually with this one because it is actually quite good. Really powerful, really fast, so it uses the maximum speed of the tankers on the back. So that's the one. So as you may see in a second, it does hit the top speed of 99 miles an hour. So when I built this track, I did make a bit of a mistake for the line that this actually goes on, the track this actually goes on. It didn't actually cross back to the return line, so it goes down to the oil well fine, but then wants to come on back on the same track, which I don't want it to do. So as you will possibly see, I have to go and fix that, so otherwise it just sits there for ages. So it does take a bit of a trip round the oil, so it goes to the obviously the crude oil comes from the oil wells and then goes to the oil factory, turns into oil, and then actually gets delivered to the fuel place, and then from the fuel place to the station, and then goes on. So this bit here is actually getting now quite crowded. and there's far too many trains trying to cross over tracks and things like that. So I am adding another track in just to kind of try and tally all that up. So because a lot of the trains are going up to Cows now, or going that way, don't actually need to go onto the main line. And because the other ones that are coming from, that are kind of just transferring across, they don't need to go on the main line either. So we're now down in Bishop's Castle. So that's where the first lot of goods are going to be delivered. And that is actually where the goods production facility is. So the plastic and steel gets all delivered down there. Again on the line that, or on the track that's already down there. So we've got a main depot down there. Did actually make a slight mistake on that as well. So I forgot that it was delivering plastic and steel, so I put an oil line in instead. Obviously that made it not work, but I did replace that later on. All this does need reorganising around here a bit as well, because there's so much stuff coming in. Kind of all gets jammed up. As you see there, it's just adding the plastic return line in. I did want to use a couple of different trucks, so there are quite a few different ones. So I did use a different one for this one. So I couldn't figure out why it wasn't actually producing anything. It does, the first lot of oil did take quite some time to get over. And just to make this place, or this area look a little bit nicer, we just put a few trees in. One thing I probably need to do is put a little bit of a fence in. Just to kind of put all this area, or make it into one big area, which will look quite good. Just give the grass a bit of a trim. One thing I wish there was in this game is probably a few more props to put around places like this. Hopefully in Transport Fever 3, if it ever comes along, we'll get them things. Maybe even if someone was to make a mod or something like that. So this is back to where the steel is created. So I was having kind of steel problems anyway, so there wasn't enough steel being created. And part of the problem was, when the iron ore and the coal gets delivered, it kind of just jams the whole place up, because there's so many trucks now going in there. So what I did is, or what I've done as you can see, is make a one-way street round the outside of the steel foundries, and then make it just drop off the iron ore down there, instead of having to go into the main depot. So that kind of takes off a lot of the trucks going into the depot or into the station. So I did think about making it a two-way or a two-street one way, but that didn't seem to work very well. So it's just one one at the minute. I do come back later on and add another one in so it can drop off coal. Because originally we did have so it's iron ore problem, so I wasn't getting enough iron ore across, but that's now fixed, and now it's a coal, so although I've got a coal mine quite close, it doesn't produce enough coal to keep 3 of the steel factories going. So what I'm doing here is actually just adding another coal mine. And I wanted to do it similar to the way I did at Tewkesbury, because I think this is Crewe. Yes, it's Crewe. So we don't actually have any products or goods or anything like that come to Crewe at the minute. So if I had a 2-track station in there, not only can I have the coal being delivered here and then taken over to the Liverpool steel plants, I can also have all the goods delivered. I can't actually remember what Crewe needs, but we'll sort Crewe out at some point. So not the prettiest track I've ever done, but at least it works. So the coal mine's actually being added onto the quarry that I've already got. That area now looks quite good, so it's got coal mine, yeah, and quarry. Actually quite like the placement of this, where I've put this station, and the depot looks quite good. Just joins up to the island quite nicely. So the coal mine's going to go here. I'm actually going to put 2 coal mines in. So that should give us plenty of coal, or additional coal. And that is actually a mod, so it's actually a coal mod, so it makes it look like it's a proper coal station. And I actually already had the train station in at Liverpool, so I was going to take over something else by train at some point. I think it was the iron ore I was going to do by train, but I ended up doing that by truck, so I'm just going to use that station for the new coal mines. So that should increase steel production quite a bit. It will also mean that the machine factory that we've got will hopefully produce a lot more machines, because that was the hold up for it. There wasn't getting enough steel across there. So because we've kind of redone the steel, that did mean I can fit a few more trucks going from the Liverpool train station. Should hope improve that. So as you can see, it's just starting to make some coal. It does take a little while for the trucks to come over, because the depot for the trucks is all the way over at Needham Market. And what I did say in the previous episodes was I was going to make a few holes like this, so just so it looks like they've been digging in other areas. And because when you dig down a little bit on this, you get water, so just going to have a few little areas filled with water that look like they've had coal dug out of them. One thing I do wish is the terrain brush was a bit stronger, so it pulled up the terrain a bit quicker. Maybe a mod on the marketplace for that, but I've not actually looked, so if you do know of one, drop it down in the comments below. So I just jump out of time lapse. So as you can see, the goods are being produced nicely down here. So this is Bishop's Castle, and the steel and the plastic are being delivered by truck just there. We just head up the motorway down here. As you can see, that's where the steel and the plastic is being delivered. So I do have 2 lines taking the steel and plastic over, just so when it gets delivered by the train, I don't actually lose anything, because that's what was happening. I think it carries around 300 items, the train, and that can't all fit on the station that I've got down here, the depot, whatever you want to call it. So it does look like don't actually have enough trucks taking the stuff across. See, there's so much stuff waiting to be taken. So I think there's 5, so there's 5 at the minute per line, so I'll just increase that to 10. There's the next train just delivering the next lot of goods of steel and plastic, so hopefully that will be okay and we won't lose any of that, because there is quite a bit of stuff already there. Hopefully all these new trucks will sort that out though. And that's this week's episode, so thanks everyone for watching. Don't forget to give the video a like, and if you want more Transport Fever, why not subscribe to my channel? I have Facebook and Twitter, why not head over there, and we'll see you next time.